Welcome to AM Public School. Students, you guess and say me, what about I am talking to? We drink it. Wash your offal utensil with it. Wash your dirty car through it. Swim in it, also fishing from it. The rivers charging down the mountain. It's above on you and it's beneath of you. So, what am I talking about? Guess. Yes, I am talking about water. So, we can't survive without water. I know you all have known about that. So today I am going to discuss about water. Water and water. Water exists in three forms, that is solid, liquid and gaseous. The bright sunshine heats up the water. When water gets heated up, water molecules absorb heat and move into the atmosphere as a water vapor. This is known as evaporation. The water vapor keeps moving upwards, high above the ground and cools down in droplets and form clouds. It is known as condensation. When the clouds become heavier, the water droplets fall down in the form of rain, snow, sleet or hails. This process is called precipitation. Through precipitation, water back to the river, streams, oceans and lakes. The process by which water continually changes its form and circulates between oceans, atmosphere and land is known as water cycle or hydrological cycle. Now I discuss about fresh and saline water. So out of 100% water, we only have 3% fresh water. From these 3% fresh water, 2% is found in the form of glaciers. Only about 1% water is found in undergrounds, lakes, rivers and streams for living being use. So we should use water very carefully. So why ocean water is salty whereas river water isn't? Because the river and streams water moves on the earth's surface and finally falls into the ocean or sea. Rivers and streams carry a lot of sediments and minerals as they flow on the surface of the earth and endly depositing them in the ocean. The minerals and sediments mixed with the water in the ocean, making them extremely salty. So, due to the depositing of sediments and minerals, the ocean water is too salty, but river water is too tasty. Now we discuss the circulation of water in oceans. Ocean water is always moving horizontally and vertically both ways. The horizontal movement of ocean water is in the form of waves and currents. The vertical movement of ocean water is in the form of tides. The dual movement of ocean water may be due to prevailing winds, difference in temperature and salinity, variation in density of seawater and attraction of the moon and the sun. The movement that occur in oceans are three types, that is waves, currents and tides. Now we discuss about waves. When the water on the surface of the ocean rises and falls alternately, they are called waves. These waves happen when winds keep blowing over the surface of the oceans. As the winds hit the water surface, the force causes the water to rise and fall. So, stronger the winds, more the force, and bigger the waves. The highest point of the wave is called crest, and the lowest point of the wave is called the trough. Now I discuss about tidal waves or tsunami. Tsunami is like a wave, but it is not a ordinary wave. So how does tsunami happen? We discuss now. It is the special case of a wave that it isn't formed by the wind. The wind can't generate that much power. Instead, a tsunami is formed due to disturbance inside the earth. The disturbance could be volcanoes, earthquakes, or landslide occurring under the ocean surface. When earthquakes occur below ocean surface, huge waves are formed. Which may be several hundred kilometers long. In the open sea, the height of the tsunami may be about 1 meter, but its speed can be from 500 to 1000 km per hour. Speed of tsunami reduces close to the shore, but its height increases. Speed of tsunami reduces close to the shore, but its height increases, sometimes as big as a 4-story building. Once this huge wave hits the shore, all that immense force moves to the shore, destroying everything on its way. So the Indonesian tsunami of 2004 traveled at a speed 8000 km per hour and hits the coastal area of Indonesia, Sri Lanka, India and Thailand and made a huge destruction. Now the time for discussing tides. What is tides? How tides are formed? Now we discuss. The periodic movements of ocean water due to gravity of moon and the sun is known as tide. The rise of seawater and its movements towards the coast is called high tide. The fall of seawater and its movements towards coast is called low tide. During the full moon and new moon days, the sun, the moon and the earth are in the same line. Thus the gravitational pulls of the sun and moon are added to pull water to the highest, and so the tides are highest. These tides are called spring tides. But when the moon is in its first and last quarter, the ocean water pulls by moon and sun in two different ways, resulting low tides. These tides are called neap tides. High tides helps in navigation by raising the water level close to the shore. Tides help ships enter into the harbor easily. In a place Kolkata, Diamond Harbour for example, the high tides also bring in a lot more fish closer to the shores than otherwise, giving the fishermen plenty more fish to catch. Also, many countries like Canada, UK, France, Japan have started to produce electricity by using the energy of the tides. Now we discuss about ocean current. We know that the earth is divided into those heat zones. It is hotter near the equator and colder near the poles. That also means that ocean water is hot near the equator and cold near the poles. So, water is indeed moving from the equator to the poles and back to the equator from the poles. This is called oceanic current. You just watch the picture. The red marks are the warm current, warm ocean current, and the blue marks are the cold oceanic current. Channels of cool water moving to warmer areas and channels of warm water moving to colder areas. Ocean currents are quite advantageous for us. Wherever they flow, they affect the temperature of those places. Now, when warm ocean waters move towards colder region, it is called warm ocean current, and when cold ocean water moves towards the hotter regions, it is called a cold ocean current. The Gulf Stream is well known warm ocean current. The Labrador Current is one of the major cold currents on the earth. Since ocean currents move at a faster pace, they become useful to us. Ships sailing in the sea tend to sail along with the currents to save some fuel. Whenever the sea finds a current in its path, it tends to follow the current. It's like standing on an escalator in the malls.
Climb the stairs, just hop on the escalator
on the escalator and it carries you. Now, something interesting happens when warm and cold currents meet together. The cold Horatio current and the warm Kuroshio current meet near the coast of Japan. This region is like a fisherman's paradise. Ocean currents influence the temperature condition of the area close to them. Britain and Canada countries are almost on the same latitude, but they should not have similar climate due to oceanic current. There is a warm ocean current called the North Atlantic Drift that runs along the coast of Britain. This warm up the region during the winters. But in Canada, there is a cold Labrador current that runs it on the coast and makes the region much colder. Now I hope you all have knew very well about ocean, rivers and whole about the water. Thank you. Now it is the time for summary. Composition of Earth's surface: 71% water and 29% land. Water cycle: the cycle of process by which water circulates between the Earth's oceans, atmosphere and land, involving evaporation, condensation and precipitation, is called water cycle. The process where liquid water heats up and turns into gaseous water vapor is called evaporation. The process where water vapor cools down into liquid droplets is called condensation. When the clouds become heavier, the water droplets fall down. This process is called precipitation. What is salinity? It is a measure of salt contained in 1 kg of water. It is represented in gram by kg. Average salinity of seawater is 35 gram per kg. Here 35 gram is salt, per kg means per kg ocean water. There are 3 kinds of ocean movements. First is waves, second tides, third ocean currents. What is waves? Alternate rise and fall of water on the ocean surface is called waves. Primary cause of formation of waves is wind. Tsunami is a kind of wave which is very strong and destructive as compared to normal waves. The word tsunami means harbor wave in Japanese. Tsunami is formed due to disturbance inside the earth. The disturbance could be volcanoes, earthquakes, or landslides occurring under the oceans. Example of a great tsunami is Indonesian tsunami of 2004. Tides are periodic movements of ocean water due to the moon and sun's gravity. The places where water level goes down so as to compensate the bulge, such places experience low tide. In a day, a given point on the earth will have two high tides and two low tides. When the sun, moon and the earth line up in a straight line, the combined gravitational pull is much greater. In such situations, spring tides are occurred. In this situation, high tides are higher than the normal high tides and low tides are lower than the normal low tides. When the sun and the moon are at right angle with the earth at vortex, their gravitational pulls counter each other. In such situation, neap tides are occurred. In neap tide situation, the high tides are lower than the normal high tides and low tides are higher than normal low tides. When the moon completes one revolution around the earth, two spring tides are witnessed when earth, moon and sun align in one straight line. Two neap tides are witnessed when the sun and the moon are at right angles with earth at the vertex. Tides are helpful for navigation and tides are also helpful for fishermen to catch more fishes. What is oceanic current? Channels of water moving in a particular direction in the oceans is known as ocean current. Warm ocean currents, the channels of water that flow from the equatorial region towards the poles, is known as warm ocean currents. Example, Gulf Stream, ocean current. What is cold ocean currents? The channel of water that flow from the poles towards the equatorial region is called cold ocean currents. Example is Labrador Current. Meeting places of cold and warm ocean currents are major fishing grounds of the world. Example, coast of Japan, where the cold Oashio current and the warm Kuroshio currents meet. At that place, fishermen catches more fishes on that place. Where warm and cold ocean currents meet, at that place a thick dense fog develops over that same places. Ocean currents influence the temperature experienced by the regions close to them. Example, winters of Britain are less severe because of the Gulf Stream, and winters of Canada are very severe because of the Labrador Current, also cold current. And at the end of this lesson, I am instructing all the students of M Public School that you watch this video more than 10 times and practice all the summary works. Thanking you